house in Cincinnati, Ohio that we have just completed an installation of MasterShield gutter protection system, as well as new 6-inch gutters with 4x3 downspouts. This house, as you can see, has a steep pitched roof. It has a series of valleys, and the water had come off at a rate that had caused the previous gutter guards to fail. Previously, this home had GutterHelmet on it, which with a roof this steep is not advisable. And then most recently, the ones we just took off were LeafFilter. LeafFilter is the predecessor of MasterShield. So the primary difference between the LeafFilter, well, there's several differences, but one of the differences between LeafFilter and MasterShield is that MasterShield slides up under the first course of shingles, and LeafFilter lives within the gutter. So LeafFilter sat flatter inside the gutter than this system does. As you can see, if I scan in, you can see kind of the shimmer of the gutter guard. That's because it's up underneath the shingles. It's at an angle that's more consistent with the roof line. When we put the new gutters on, we dropped the gutters down a little bit so that we could get more of a pitch off of the MasterShield system. This is the backyard. You can see just a ton of trees in this yard, so leaves and debris have been a big problem on this particular installation, or this particular residence, for a long time. You can see they have a super steep slope roof. You can see the LeafFilter here. It's a micro mesh screen, very fine screen. It's keeping the leaves and debris out, but you can see that it started to form moss on the screen, and it's also sitting flat, if not tilting back towards the house in some spots. So there you can see kind of in the shot where it's dipped down, you've got some leaves and debris kind of on the back side of that, sitting down at an angle towards the house. Here's some moss on the roof, so we're north facing. Come across, you can see the moss that is grown on top of the gutter guard surface. In addition to that, you've got a lot of these small leaves, flowers that have come off the trees above. And this house does have a ton of trees, so you can see it's just all kind of matted down on top of the gutter guard. So they're looking for a solution, and we're going to give them some options to try to remedy this problem. But the primary issue that you see here is because the LeafFilter is sitting flat to actually tilting back towards the house. You've got all this leaves and debris that are standing on top of it, and it's not going to easily disappear. You can see the moss on the surface, which is indicative of the fact that this area just stays really wet. And the screen, because it's so fine, doesn't let any of the organic matter through, allows that moss to grow on it. As we pan down from the top of the roof, you can see how steep this roof slope is. It's probably a 14-12, maybe even a 16-12, so it's not uncommon for on any decent rain. The water just converges in this valley and it races down here like a raging river, comes down to the bottom. At the time this gutter guard was installed, they put a diverter in here to try to keep the water from spilling off the edge. But if you look down below, you can see how green and how it's worn away at the moss, or excuse me, how it's worn away at the mulch that's down there. The bigger issue is that the way that the gutter guard is installed on the house doesn't allow for all the leaves and debris to slide off of it, and you can see how it's caught on there, and it's not gonna leave anytime soon. When LeafFilter is installed, it comes as two pieces. It comes as the vinyl component at the bottom here, and then it has a stainless steel micro mesh screen that comes separately. As you can see, what then happens is the screen is supposed to be inserted down a channel, and then caulked on the top and bottom. My understanding is that that is no longer the case. It still is inserted down the channel, but it's no longer caulked on the bottom here and on the back side. So as a result, what happens is the screen, which has a memory, it's a pretty rigid screen, so it's got a memory to it. You can see it just kind of flips back up, falls out, and essentially renders the gutter guard system useless. So apparently LeafFilter has turned this into a feature that if your screen ever falls out, they will now charge you $13 a foot to reinsert the screen, but they're still not going to caulk it. This is the result of the system, and I actually think this may have been caulked at one point. I believe it's been up there long enough that maybe it was caulked, but be that as it may, you can see how the screen has popped out. It's now kind of concave, so it's got a high on the sides and lower in the middle, and it's just catching all the leaves and debris that come down, and it's really serving no benefit anymore. Now if you look on the underside of it, you can also see where the debris has gotten inside the channels there, and eventually that will render the channels useless in that they won't be able to take in the water like they're designed to when they're free flowing. When we put the new gutters on, we dropped the gutters down a little bit so that we could get more of a pitch off of the MasterShield system. So we've installed it across the front. I'll show you around the back. On the back of the house, we also installed the 6-inch gutters with the MasterShield system. Previously, the LeafFilter was just caked with leaves and debris sitting on top of it. So here, you can see that it's at a pitch more consistent with the roof line since it slides up under the shingles. If I come up closely, you should be able to see on top of it. So the pitch is much more conducive here, and as the wind blows, any of the leaves and stuff that are sitting up there will blow off. There's also a solarium over here, and we have a new gutter up on top. So the roof pitch kind of transitions from the steep to a little bit less. We've got the MasterShield up there as well. Now what we did do is we made a provision that in the valleys we put in a little bit more porous system, and that will help capture the water. That's been one of the big issues on this house, is that the water just overwhelms the gutter guards and the gutters. So by going to a 6-inch gutter, lowering it down, putting everything at the correct pitch, we're hoping to do a better job of capturing all that water. You can see some of the leaves that are coming down now. Just hit the gutter guard and cruise over the top. On the garage side of the house, this actually had 5-inch gutters on here previously, and the screen on the LeafFilter had come undone. So it really wasn't doing anything to protect the gutters from leaves and debris. We took all that off. You can see the MasterShield here slid up underneath the shingles. We did make a provision in that valley. We used another one of our systems. It's again more porous to capture some of the water coming down that valley, but we were able to incorporate it with the same lip so it has a consistent look from ground level. But you can just see the extent of the trees, oaks, maples, all sorts of stuff, river birch. They pretty much have it all going on here in this yard. So this should be a vast improvement over what they've had historically. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button down below and you'll be notified of future videos.